Good morning, my dear students. Welcome back to the online session of Watchman of the Lake written by R.K. Narayan. In today's session, we will be discussing scene 4. Before we get into scene 4, let us brush up whatever we have studied in scene 3. In scene 3, we have already seen that a tank was built and Mara has been made as a watchman of the lake. Here, Mara is taking the in charge, being as a watchman in a strict way, where Mara catches hold of a person who was fishing in that tank. When questioned, the person or the man says that he was not fishing. So Mara asks then why he had fishing rod and a basket with some fish. He warns the man seriously about the consequences if he is found again seen in and around that place again. He says that the place is sacred because the command of the goddess is that anything that flies, swims or walks belongs to the goddess and it has to go untouched. So such was the command of the goddess. Now the later part, when we have seen about scene 3 here, there's a visitor and here we have seen the way Mara treated the man and the visitor in a different way. So here the man has come with a request, and that request is he asked Mara if he could lend some water to their village. So for that Mara has accepted. So till then climate was absolutely proper. But the moment when Mara promised the visitor, there was a sudden change in the climate. We have discussed till this in our last class. Now let us continue with scene 4 of Watchman of the Lake. Now before we get into the text, let us get to know the characters that we are going to see in scene 4. In scene 4, we are supposed to see that scene 4 starts late at night, torrential downpour and a shrieking storm. So this is taking place late at night. The same night when visitor had requested Mara for some water, the same evening there was a change in the climate. So here we are supposed to see only the two characters, the king, man. At the beginning they have said it as man, but it is actually Mara. So here students do remember scene 2 and 4 is important from the point of the examination. So now let us get into the text. Late at night, torrential downpour and a shrieking storm. The king's palace, the bell at the palace gate ringing instantly. This scene is taking place late at night. So what has happened late at night? There was a torrential rain. What does it mean? It's a heavy rain. Torrential downpour and a shrieking storm. So there's a kind of a shrieking storm in that village. The king's palace, the bell at the palace gate ringing instantly. So here someone has gone to the king's palace. Someone is ringing the bell continuously without taking any pause. They are ringing the bell. So probably this is the way ringing of the bell mean to say that. So the man whoever has come to the king's palace, he wanted to convey the message immediately. That's the reason why the person is ringing the bell continuously. So what is the reason behind this? Let us discuss. King, who is so urgently summoning me at this hour? What has happened in this terrible night of storm? Go down and see who it is. The bell ceases and sound of footsteps. King is shocked to know that someone is ringing the bell at that moment because it was late at night, first thing. The second thing was because it was raining heavily with a shrieking storm. So he was shocked to know in this climate or in this kind of a moment who has come to meet the king. So he says, who is so urgently summoning me at this hour? Who wants to meet me at this hour? What has happened in this terrible night of storm? So he's asking what actually has happened in this terrible night of storm. It's not a regular night where people used to sleep in a comfortable way. This night was considered to be as a terrible night of storm. So king wants to know who is that person who has called me at this hour of the night? Go down and see who it is. He's giving command to his subjects to see who the person was. So the bell says the sound of the footsteps. Who are you, man? What has happened that you should be calling us this hour? Why are you gasping? Gasping so badly. Gasping mean catch one's breath with an open mouth. So now the fellow has come down to ask what has actually happened. So they are asking a question, who are you, man? And what has happened to you? Why are you calling us at this hour? And they are asking, why are you gasping? I mean, as I've already told you, it's kind of taking your breath with an open mouth. Suppose say that you have run for 5 kilometers, our breathing will be in a abnormal way. So here Mara was gasping so badly. So they want to know the reason why that the person has come at that hour of the night. It was raining heavily with the shrieking storm. Man, I have been running. King, in this storm? Who are you? What has happened? So the man says that I have been running. From where? From his house to the king's palace. He has not taken a pause. He kept on running till he reached king's palace. So king is asking, you have run all the way in this storm. What has happened? Why is that you wanted to meet me at this hour? What is the reason behind it? Man, I am Mara, watchman of the lake most high. So he says he is Mara. So till then our king could not recognize that it was Mara. So Mara is introducing himself to the king, saying that I am Mara most high. King, Mara, how different you are now, battered by this rain, with your hair plastered on your face and all that water dripping down. Battered mean injured by repeated blows or punishment. So here king says, Mara, how different you are now. So he says Mara was looking different now, battered by the rain, with your head plastered on your face and all that water dripping down. So imagine in that torrential rain, if he had to run all the way to reach the king's palace. He is battered in the rain and his hair is plastered on his face. So he was looking differently and water was dripping down from his body. Mara, I beg your majesty's grace for bringing my presence here in state. I have come running, battling with roaring wind and through slush and raging torrents. Forgive me, your majesty. I am trembling with the message within me. May I utter it? So slush meant partially melted snow. Trembling meant he wanted to convey some message immediately. So here, first, Mara is apologizing to our king because he had gone there at that moment. So he says, I beg your majesty's grace for bringing my presence here in state. So he says, I beg, sorry that, I woke you up at this hour. So I have run, I have come in this roaring wind and the slush and a raging torrents. Forgive me for this. The reason behind I coming here is that I want to convey a message to you, which is something immediately. I cannot relax myself. So he says, can I utter it? King, yes, Mara. My lord, it is about the lake. I feel faint to mention it. So Mara says that the thing that I want to convey is about the lake. No, he's not able to get the words. He says, about the lake. I feel faint to mention it. So something has happened here in the lake. So he is not in a position to convey that message to our king. He says, I feel faint to mention it. I'm not comfortable to say the thing which I want to convey to you. King, tell me what has happened. So king says, tell me what actually has happened, Mara. It is about to smash its bounds. So he says that it's about to smash. King, Mara, are you mad? Are you sure your mind is your own? Mara, your majesty, till the evening, there was no sign of coming rain. It was a beautiful, bright day, unruffled The lake mirrored the blue sky on its bosom. But at dusk, the sky darkened. I called my son in and I shut the door of my hut. Raindrops battered my roof. At midnight, the wind rocked my hut. I got up and went out. My heart was disturbed. King is asking, are you mad to say that the lake is going to smash? He says that, are you out of your mind? What are you speaking? Do you think so that the tank is going to break? Are you out of your mind? So king is scared to know the actual facts about the tank. So Mara says that, Your Majesty, till last evening everything was fine. So he says that there was no sign of rain till last evening. It was a beautiful bright day. The lake mirrored the blue sky. So the climate was absolutely proper till last evening. So why do you think so that till last evening everything was fine? The reason is Mara was going according to the will and wish of the goddess. Remember another thing. Goddess in scene 2 had already told Mara that Veda is her plaything, and it is she who had asked Mara to construct a tank for her to stay in that village. So here, when the visitor came in seeking for some water to his village, Mara did not think twice about it. Without seeking the permission of the goddess, he accepted to provide water to that visitor or the neighboring village. The moment he promised the visitor of providing some water to him and to his villagers, the climate changed suddenly. So he is saying the same thing to the king that till last evening everything was fine. It was a bright day. But at dusk the sky darkened. As it was getting dark, what actually happened was suddenly there was a change in the climate. I called my son in. He got to know that it was going to rain heavily that night. So he called his son into his hut and shut the door of his hut. Raindrops battered my roof. So what happened? Raindrop battered his roof. At midnight the wind rocked my hut. So at midnight what happened was the wind has rocked his hut. So he got up, went out, and he says that his heart was disturbed. Why his heart was disturbed, we'll see. King, who tell me, is the lake going to break? So king is really shocked to know the fact. He says, please tell me, is the lake going to break? Mara, your majesty will know it presently. I rose from my bed and went out. I have never seen anything more terrible in my life, my lord. Weather was thundering down the mountain. The wind shook the earth. So here, Mara says that your majesty will know about it. I'm about to utter, I'm about to tell you the same thing. What actually you want to hear, I'm about to convey the same message to you. So he says that as he rose from his bed, as he woke up from his bed, he went out to see the rain. And he says that, I have never seen anything more terrible in my life, my lord. He says that he has not seen anything more terrible in his life like this. The rain was blowing down and shook the earth, and it was the gushing of the water that strengthened. And he says that it was a scary thing. I could not resist. It was terrible. I went to the edge of the water. The waves rose to a man's height and hammered at the bank. The water level was just a hair's breadth below the shore. Any moment it might heavy and flow over. So he said that I went to the edge of the water. So what did he see? Why was it considered to be the terrible moment of his life? Because the water rose to the height of a man, hammered at the bank. The level of the water was very high. And he said any moment it could have broken, it would flow over. Mara wanted to convey this message to our king because it was king who gave the permission to construct the tank. So he wanted to convey the message to him. So he has conveyed the message to the king about the tank. So here the thing that we are supposed to see here is a similar thing has happened even in our lives too. For example, if we go ahead with disturbing the nature, what will be the ultimate result of it? Probably you might have seen in some places they have cut down the trees, or in other words, deforestation has taken place. What was the ultimate result of it? 2 years back, if we had to recall the incident about Madikeri, Kerala and Mangalore, we have seen how many lives were being destroyed because of this torrential rain. Why do you think so that there would be a kind of a disturbance in the nature? It's a life cycle where human beings are dependent on the plants and plants are dependent on the sunlight. So we are interlinked. Suppose if there is any problem, there will be imbalance. The moment that we have a kind of an imbalance, these are the consequences that we are supposed to face. We are supposed to be good to our nature. That is what actually we are going to study here. King, Mara, was the lake? What is to happen to all of us? So king is asking, Mara, was the lake? What is to happen to all of us? What about all of us? Mara, I fell down and prayed. Goddess stood before me. Her tresses were wild. Her eyes gleamed with a strange light. She carried a sword in her hand and she had splashed her forehead with vermilion means brilliant red color. I covered at the sight of her. Get up and hear me instantly. She said, I am the goddess of the lake and that river Veda is my plaything. Clear out of your heart at once. Mother, save me. What is going to happen? I asked. So here he says that Mara fell down and prayed to the goddess. How did she look like? In scene 4, she was in her anger. Her tresses were wild. Her eyes gleamed, mean it was shining brightly with a strange light. She carried a sword in her hand. What does she has got in her hand? She has got a sword in her hand. She splashed her forehead with vermilion, that is a brilliant red color. She has just splashed it. So the moment I saw her, I got to know it was Mother. And she said, listen, get up and listen to me. I am the goddess of this lake. River Veda is my plaything. Clear out of your heart at once. So she's asking Mara to clear his heart at once. So he fell down and he's requesting, he's pleading to goddess. It said that, Mother, save me. What is going to happen? He asked. In scene 2, goddess was in a good mood because Mara listened to all her commands, but here she is in her angry mood. Her mood now is to destroy the village. I'm going to kick away the miserable stones you have piled up to imprison the waters of my Veda. I am going to destroy your tank. So Mara is conveying the message to king, saying that it was the goddess who have told that she is going to kick away the miserable stones. Why is it miserable? So according to goddess, she says that it is this miserable stones, which has imprisoned her water of Veda. So she says that she wants to destroy the tank. Mother, we put it up at your command. I said, yes, and now I want to destroy it. It is my mood now. Veda is my plaything. I created it when I wanted it and I will splash away its water when I like. Who are you to stop me? She replied. So goddess has already told that it was her mood now to destroy the tank. And she said that it is her plaything. Earlier she wanted to have a place in the village. Now it's her mood to destroy the tank. So she says, who are you to stop me? And I'm not going to listen to anybody. So she's about to destroy the tank. King, Mara, are you speaking the truth? So king is asking, Mara, are you speaking the truth? Mara, Your Majesty, my son and wife perished if there is a word of untruth in what I am saying. So Mara says, Your Majesty, if at all, if you feel that I am untruthful or if you feel that I am lying to you, let my son and my wife be perished. King, go on with your story. Mara, I pleaded with her. I pointed out to her the vastness of the lake, the water stretching the length of the hill and going in a bend out of sight, the whole of it kept back by a bank, which would take a quarter of a day to cross. But all that she would say to it was, Why do you make much of it? I told her that all that water waited like a crouching tiger and would spring upon the 100 villages and towns and the king's capital beyond. If the bank was removed, she laughed at it and flourished her sword. I pleaded with her for us to spare us and have pity on us poor mortals. Mara is describing about the vastness of the tank to the goddess, but goddess is not in a mood to listen to Mara's words. She has got her sword and she is about to destroy the tank. And he says that he pleaded with her for us to gather and to have pity on the poor mortals, that is the subjects of that village. But she was not to be moved. A most terrible and the reckless mood of destruction seems to have come upon the goddess. I fell on the wet ground, prostrated before her and begged, A poor mortal like me cannot stop you. Oh, divine mother, but grant me this. I will run to the capital and inform the king and return. Till then, stay your hand. When you see me here again, you may carry out the demonstration. Yes, I grant this. I will wait until you have told the king and return. She said, and I am here, your majesty. So here, Mara says that he pleaded with goddess for us to gather. He requested her and he said, please have some pity on the poor mortal like us. Mara has fell on the wet ground. Prostrated means laying stretched out on the ground with one's face downward. So he has put his head down. He went on begging. He went on requesting the goddess. And goddess has granted last wish of Mara before the devastation. And what is that last wish of Mara? He said, Goddess, can you please wait for me? I'll just go convey the message to the king about your devastation of the lake. Till then, what are you supposed to do? Till then, stay your hand. Means she has taken a sword and as she was about to destroy it, Mara has requested that stay your hand. You're not supposed to destroy it till I go and come back. What is the condition here? The condition here is that until and unless you see my face here in this place, you're not going to go ahead with the devastation. So I'll just go inform the king and come back. Remember, you're supposed to wait to see my face in the same place. Till then, can you please hold the destruction? So for this request, goddess has accepted. She said, okay, I have granted your wish. Go inform the king. The moment I see your face, I will go ahead with the devastation of the tank. So, my dear students, the scene 4 started. It started late at night where the climate changed suddenly. It was raining heavily. Two characters here is the king and Mara. Mara has visited the king to convey a message. Goddess is angry. Goddess is in a mood of destroying the tank. In scene 2, she wanted to construct the tank, whereas in scene 4, she wants to destroy the tank. So he has conveyed a message. He had requested goddess that he would go to the capital, convey the message of the devastation, and he would be back. Until and unless goddess sees his face, she should not continue with the devastation. This is what we have learned today in this session. Let us continue with the other part of Watchman of the Lake scene 4 and 5 in our next session. Thank you.